got so many things that are bumbling around my head right now. So many different ideas and angles that are jostling for position about what wants to be expressed, what do I want to talk about. And really, I'm opening my mouth and hoping that it's through this act of sharing that they will make some sort of sense. But I guess the root of the thoughts that are spinning through my mind right now is playing with this question of who am I and what's my purpose? And I don't know what you think about this concept of purpose, about whether we all have a unique purpose in life, whether it's predetermined, whether we get to choose. There's a lot of different opinions that I hold within me that are seemingly opposite, and yet I believe all of them to be true. So I believe that we do get to decide what our purpose is, and I do believe that we can find purpose in whatever it is that we are doing. Part of me definitely believes that our purpose is about a quality of consciousness that we bring to whatever activity that it is we're doing. So I could do any task and be living out my purpose by merely being in the moment and experiencing it. I guess from that line of thought, our purpose is simply to exist, to be, and deeper than that, I suppose, to be who we naturally are, to not be anybody who we think we should be, and really get to the core of just experiencing life, really noticing the moment. But within that, it's hard to deny that people have differences. We all have unique ways that we experience the world. We all have unique talents. We all have different things that pull on the chords of our curiosity and capture our attention. So surely with this in mind, maybe there is more than just being. Maybe our unique presence in the world does have a certain path to follow, does have a certain experience to play out, and yet perhaps it's all meaningless. Perhaps our perception of reality is simply a narrative that we place over the chaos of the world just so that we can make sense of it, just so that we can get by day to day and find some sense of purpose in the world. But even if this whole concept of purpose is a completely man-made concept or a mind-made concept, if it helps us survive, if it helps us find joy and peace and that sense of fulfillment within, is that a bad thing? I suppose it probably is a bad thing if that then results in taking other people's lives or causing unnecessary harm to others. But I feel these questions of who I am, who am I, and what is my purpose, they are like an incredible pressure that exists within me. And I just feel like I have so many different ways that I could go, so many different avenues that I could explore, that it feels at times overwhelming. Because what do I do with all this potential laid out in front of me? What do I do in this moment? What do I choose to do with my time and energy? How do I choose to spend my time and energy? I don't have an answer for this. In fact, my only answer is to be in that moment, which sounds like what are you on about, Becky? And I feel like if I was watching this in my mid-20s and watching myself now, I'd be like, what the hell is she talking about? But our only access point to life is this moment right now. And so it feels somewhat futile to play with all these ideas, to construct all these scenarios about what might happen in the future, because I actually have no real control over the future. I only have control over the now. And so by being fully in this experience of this moment and expressing my truth in this moment, knowing that tomorrow it might be completely different, that this is my only answer. This is my only way of exploring that question of who am I and what is my purpose. It's to be in it. It's to experience it and to see what comes forth from that place. But I feel like with each expression, with each video I create, with each thing I write, with each new thought that I have or new perspective, I come closer to the answer. Who am I? What is my purpose? And I feel like if I considered this question tomorrow, I would be able to give you a completely different response to the question, who am I and what's my purpose? Because at a core level, I can answer it in ways of, well, if I look at where I thrive in life and where I'm most service, I do have an ability to help people clarify their thoughts. I do have an ability to look beyond and hear beyond the words that somebody shares with me and actually understand the core of what they're trying to communicate. And not only am I able to see and hear that, but I am able to then extract it and reflect it back to somebody. But there's just this great friction that I feel between doing what I naturally want to do, sharing how I naturally want to share in this completely unstructured way, and all the advice that I hear out there around, and I myself perpetuate, of staying on message, of making it easy for people to figure out what you're all about. I feel like I'm a walking contradiction. Like I'm this mess of a human brain that wants to talk about so many different topics, and the only thread that connects all of them is the way that I view it. And yes, there are certain topics that I'm drawn to, talking about creativity, talking about how to share authentically, talking about how to uncover who you really are at your core and being okay with that and not feeling the need to be anybody else and not feeling less than because who you are and the way you see the world is different to everybody else. But appreciating that that is what actually, that's your gift, that's your unique contribution to this world. And it's only in stripping off those layers, it's only in unbecoming all the things that you think that you should be, that you are able to find out who you are and what that gift is. And I feel like me sharing these videos is actually me just documenting the process of me unraveling before your very eyes. A process of just letting go. And I'm gonna say another buzzword, surrendering. And being totally like, this is me. I can't really summarize it in a snappy sentence. I can't really capture it and package it up nice and neatly, because who I am is so much more than that. And yet by sharing in this way, I completely contradict the whole selling point of my business and my work, which is about how do we position and package up what you do so that it makes sense to people. But maybe that's the joy of it, right? Maybe that's where we find people tend to help others with what they struggle with the most, because they have this depth of understanding of that struggle, of that ache within. So maybe the fact that how I share is completely a spider web of words and thoughts and ideas, maybe that is part of what makes my ability to help you clarify your own thoughts. Maybe that's what makes it special. I don't know. I always have questions, and my life is an exploration of the answers, but at the same time, I don't necessarily expect to find those answers. And if you've made it this far, if you're still watching, congratulations. But do you know what? We don't have to have it all figured out to still exist. We don't have to be our final evolved form to still share with people, to still speak our minds. We get to be a work in progress. And who knows, maybe somebody will find something in this that's meaningful to them. Who knows? Who the hell am I to say? And I guess that's the core of it, really. An inner struggle and an inner battle between wanting to just express myself truly against the friction of wanting it to be useful to other people. And the question of, is myself sharing this freely actually the thing that's useful to other people? The unpackagedness of it, the messiness of it, is that what's actually helpful? It's not my question to answer.